Konbanwa. If I can find the button. Hello, 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 hello. How the devil are you? I'm back. I'm Genki. How are you all doing? Welcome in. Starting off strong. Got a resub. Thank you so much from K. Arigato. Get Stream Manager up on my phone. I hope everyone is doing well. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Hello Voxwell. Let's see if the music's going to work today. I think it's coming through. Whoosh! I am really not ready actually. I'm like a minute late and I should have given myself another couple of minutes actually. I was lying down. I made the mistake of after dinner taking a second to lie down and then it's so difficult to get back up again. So I peeled myself off the floor and I made it here and I haven't really prepped anything. I'm basically picking up where I left off a couple hours ago. I hope everyone is doing well. A peel, you say? No peels on the stream anyway. But I have actually, funny you say that. I was rubbing this whole thing with the back of my finger. It's not going to focus it. Can you see it? There's a little bit of a blister forming from rubbing. You can see it a little bit, I think. It's a bit raw. I was rubbing it really, really hard and it's quite a big section. I cleared this whole top bit. Well, we're going to flip over in a second. I hope everyone had a very nice weekend. It was a 3-day weekend here and I went camping. We can talk a little bit about that. I have got some pictures, but I haven't prepped anything in the OBS, so we'll have a play with that a little bit later. Let's flip over. I'm feeling better, you know. I'm feeling better after a little bit of a rest. Let's get over to the block. Actually, 1 second. While we're here, on the wide, I can show you the progress on the block. I should also start this. We are at, what's that saying? 76. 76? Yeah. Start the button. And we have finished that section that we were on. That bit's done. And today I started this section on this side. I basically carved all the, everything's reversed. I've carved this side and I just have this side today. We're going to start on this bit today, I think. I'm going to move it up there. And the other side is, well, I showed you last time. The other side is like this. We finished the top section and the small dots I sort of got tired of and I left them and I'll do them last. I think it was a good move to finish one section that was a little bit easier. Looking a bit raw. Me. Where are we? I want to be carving here. Your finger. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit hot. I guess I haven't been doing much peeling recently, so any callus I might have had. The dots never end. No, we're going to be here. I have a week to finish this. which is not a lot of time. So today and tomorrow, I'm going to have to get some. Basically, I have to finish this tomorrow if I'm going to stand a chance to finish the other side. I'm going to do these because I think these will be interesting. At least these dots look visually a little bit different from what we've been doing. Glasses on. Maybe move the camera just a touch. And focus. Cool, cool, cool. You must be dreaming dots at this stage, yeah, not far wrong. But I'm feeling much better. I know I've been a little bit pessimistic recently. In the last stream, I was quite mopey, but I'm feeling a lot better. Let me just get into the rhythm a little bit, and I can start telling you some tales around the fire. Getting out of the city must help with that, yeah, massively. The latest Patreon post was good. The views look so beautiful. Yeah. So I've been really remiss on the Patreon recently because this is what the third project in a row from Asuka Sensei. So it's been like non-stop. Basically, since I got back I went to the UK on the 10th, was it? So it's nearly 2 months since I left for the UK. And just after coming back, just work, I don't know, it's all piled on, and then Asuka Sensei projects have come in, like they've all been really tight deadlines, and then it's just been really difficult to do anything other than, work. Work that's like focused on me sitting at a bench, not doing periphery type of work. Whenever these types of projects come in, those are the stuff that unfortunately they have to be put aside for a second. Anything that's like solely my projects. Stuff like the bonsai and Patreon and YouTube. YouTube. So I haven't been able to do any Patreon posts and stuff in a while. But I suppose we can get into it. The second day of the camp, I went for 2 nights. We went to Yamanashi and went for a camp for my birthday over the weekend, a long 3-day weekend. What is the national holiday? Let me check. There's always a national holiday on the 3rd. Culture Day. So my birthday is the 2nd, and it often lines up with the weekend. And so often I get a nice 3-day weekend on my birthday. And sometimes can't do it that weekend, sometimes week after, but it's become a little bit of a tradition of mine that I always go camping on my birthday. It's been too hot all summer to like do. I still do it, but I like this time of year for camping. It's suddenly got really cold here. I say really cold. It's going to get much colder, but comparatively. The evenings are actually quite cold. The days, they're not so bad. But at night, the temperature drops quite a lot. So it's much colder here than it has been. And that happened like in the course of a week, I guess. Anyway, we went to this campsite. We've been before. It was really, really lovely. I'll show you some pictures a little bit later. The place is called Shibireko, and actually lots of the areas around there, they appear in an anime called Yuru Camp. And there's one picture I'll show you a little bit later where I did a recreation of a semi-recreation of one of the scenes from the anime. And I got to write my first post. I guess it's been nearly 2 months since my last one. I try and do them every 2 weeks or so. Every week or every 2 weeks, somewhere around there. And the last one was quite a while ago. But we went to an onsen on the second day. That's where the story was going. And Ayana took our son inside. I can't go into most onsens because I have tattoos. And they're not the kind of tattoos you can just cover up with a sticker. I need very big stickers. You can get in some places. Sentos, are, especially in Tokyo, they're often a little bit more lax. Sentos are non-natural hot springs. So onsen is where like the water's coming from the ground, but sento is just the heated water. So in Tokyo, there's lots of sentos, and often, but you can find ones that will allow tattoos. And occasionally, when you go into the countryside, you can get places that will allow you in, but you really need to call ahead before. I've not stayed in many ryokans. Those are the traditional Japanese hotels because they're very expensive. But my best one, I don't know, maybe I told you about going to Aomori. That was another birthday trip. I tend to do lots of nice things on my birthday. But went to one in Aomori before. And if anyone ever gets a chance, this is like my number one thing. I want to go and do it again. Aomori, there's not much stuff. If you like outdoor pursuits and apples, then Aomori's the place. But if you're not into either of those things, then I think you might get a little bit bored. I loved Aomori. I thought it was fantastic. We stayed at this place called camping where they have these lanterns all over. I think maybe I talked about it before. I don't know why I'm talking about camping. Why was I telling this story? Sounds like you're rejuvenated after your camping trip. Yeah, yeah, I feel much better. I really needed just a couple of days off. And it's not even so much resting because camping can be quite full on. If you have 2 nights there, it's the second day is usually quite chilled. But the first, if you're just staying for one night and you do the setup, you get there a little bit late. It's a long drive. You get there sometime after lunch, like 1 to 3 is usually normal check-in. And then you do all the setup, and then you have dinner, and you got a kid, you put him to bed. Like that all, we didn't have our rest time until, well, we didn't start cooking dinner until like 8. So if you're only staying for one night, you're busy until 8. And then you got to pack up in the morning and head out before 11. So having the second night, especially with the kid, is really nice. Because the second day is then really chilled. You've got nothing to do. No packing to do. Your camp's all set up. Nice view of Mount Fuji. Yeah, we saw really Yamanashi, all that area. Even just driving on the expressway there, you just got this massive view of Mount Fuji for the whole time. It's so annoying. The pictures just don't do it justice. It's just dominating the landscape. It always makes you happy. I don't know about anyone else, but even after all this time of living here, like I still get so excited about like it's quite a powerful image. I always really love seeing Mount Fuji. And when you're driving on these roads and stuff, you realize why all these woodblock prints, they all have Mount Fuji. And you're just flicking through these prints, it can seem a bit like blasé, these people are just obsessed. But the reason it's in all these prints is just so dominating wherever you look, even from Tokyo before the big skyscrapers, and still in lots of parts of Tokyo you can still see it. It's just massive, and it's sort of semi-isolated. There's mountains all around it, but it's sort of alone in the center there. We talked about Tolkien before. It's sort of like it's a less pointy, lonely mountain. It's just the quintessential mountain. You've all seen Mount Fuji. I don't need to explain it. There was really, really good views of Mount Fuji, and it was really clear. And we were lucky with the weather as well. It was supposed to rain on the first day, but it rained in the early morning, and then it was clear all day. Well, clear. It was a bit cloudy, but it was good. Taryn loves to be one with nature. Yeah. A carving chalet. That would be nice. If I didn't have to worry about selling prints or like working with printers or anything like that, I probably would just live in the countryside, like middle of nowhere. Do up an old Japanese house. Although already I don't see anybody. Probably not the best for my socializing. Camping food was good. Yeah, we had nabe the first night, which is nabe is just a Japanese hot pot. We got this sort of ceramic nabe pot. Just bought some pre-cut veg, so prep was super easy. Throw it all in. What was the flavor? The base was like a soy sauce. Not soy sauce. Soy milk base. They have a few different standard, like tare is the main flavor element of the broths. And there's what are the different flavors? There's like the typical ones are sesame, and there's like a sukiyaki type broth and soy milk base, and then just sort of a clear broth as well. Camping burners, yeah. No marshmallows, unfortunately, no. I didn't think that far ahead. Fuji-san is quite a big lad, yeah. And I maintain it's better to climb mountains around Mount Fuji than climb Mount Fuji itself. I haven't done Mount Fuji yet, so I don't have any first-hand experience, but I've seen videos and stuff. I don't know if anyone here is a fan of the Ricky Gervais show. Carl Pilkington, he has a quote, it's better to live in the cave and look at the nice thing. That's going to go over most people's heads, I think. But it's true. There was also a yoga retreat going on at the same time we were there. The main campsite is on the far side of the lake, and you have to do a bit of a walk to get to the other side, to the campsite. But on the near side, they've got like this building, and they've got a few cabins and stuff. And at the same time we were there was a sort of yoga retreat going on. And we talked to them at the end, thinking that this is like a yearly thing, but maybe it's something we could do in the future because it's such a lovely location. Even just do like any event there, it's great. Turned out, who organized it? One of the organizers. Most of the people came from either the teacher who has a school in Tokyo somewhere, but that person's teacher, so the teacher's teacher from, was it Indonesia? And they also brought some people with them. So it was like sort of 50-50, well, maybe more 60-40 Japanese people and Gaigokujin. I imagine Fujisan gets too busy to climb and enjoy. Also, it's like a single type of environment. Really good hikes. You do a bit of like rocky climbing, and then you do a nice path, and you on a meadow section or a ridge, and then you maybe got a rocky part, and then you've got like the river bit. Fuji is just sort of like all rocks, just a sheer steep rocky bit, zigzagging up the mountain and stuff. It's sort of a single type of terrain all the way, because there's no trees or anything on it once you get up there. I want to do Mount Fuji, but I haven't rushed to do it because, yeah, just exposed sort of, what do you call it? Sheer? Is that what you call the sort of small stones? Is it called sheer? Is there another word for it? Sounds like sheer. Maybe it is sheer. Sounds like that. I'm doubting myself now. Scree! Thank you, scree. There we go. Sheer. That's the word I was thinking of, scree. So on the second day, we had a bit of extra time. And needed to give my son a nap. And we wanted to pop out and go to the onsen so they could have a bit of a wash. So we got in the car and we decided to go to this nice coffee shop that wasn't so far. After getting down the mountain, it was only like 15 minutes. Takes a little bit of time to get down the mountain. But he fell asleep and it was only like 15 minutes. So we decided to go to this really far place. And then, of course, my wife fell asleep as well. So I haven't slept very well. I don't sleep very well in general anyway. So we drove for about an hour and we've to this place I found. It's like a cafe run by these retired people. But it was like in the middle of nowhere. I started driving on these roads. We were just like driving through fields. They looked like little farmer tracks. They were concreted, but they seemed like just little farmer tracks to go between their fields. It's like, Google, where are you taking me? I ended up just in this little house that they'd obviously pretty recently renovated. And their first floor they turned into a cafe. Really, really quite nice renovation job. Really pretty. But the best thing about it was that they had sort of all these rice fields. They didn't look really lush at the moment because of the time of year. They'd all been harvested. But just directly in front of them, they had all these rice fields and then just this massive Mount Fuji. It's a really nice place for a cup of coffee. Trying to get out the white parts of the black lines. I'm sort of splitting the black lines. I'm taking all the white stuff away. Everything red and a little bit of the black line will remain. Am I on camera? Maybe a little bit, yeah. So after we went to that cafe, went to the onsen. And on my birthday, I got to wait in the foyer of the onsen, which also turned out to be a location from Yuru Camp. I think the anime must be based like around Yamanashi because it seems to be you throw a stone in the area where we were and you hit the sort of Yuru Camp hotspot or a location from the anime. Oh, there's an ad. Comment. So after a little bit of a rest and a little bit of forest breathing, work today felt much better. The carving went well. I got really good progress. I finished that one. I started on this one. Had myself a nice BLT for lunch. Does anyone know that Princess Bride quote? What is it? MLT? Mutton, lettuce, tomato. Where the mutton's nice and lean and the tomatoes are ripe. How often do you go to Mokankan's work? Not often. I usually have a reason if I go to Mokankan. Maybe there's like a meeting or someone needs some touch-up work or there's an emergency. Bringing up all the classics. Yeah, that's such a great scene. I Shazammed it, but is that music? Yeah, you're right. Oh, I've just lost. You're correct, yeah. I'm not gonna try and pronounce. We know how I am at pronouncing the names. The playlist is on my is in my Discord. There's a link there. I should probably put it a little chat command. Maybe I'll add that tonight, but I don't really fancy having the music titles up on screen. I don't really like clutter. I wonder if it'd come up if you typed in stream vintage on Spotify. I think it'd probably come up, you know. So do you visit Asuka more often? I used to. I used to go there a couple times a week. And then I live right next to him, so I was always going there when I lived in Shinjuku. But I don't go there so much anymore. I go there to talk about projects, pick up projects, and then drop projects off. I moved past the sort of teaching stage a long time ago. I don't really have to clean the the toilets and the windows anymore. Sheena's not very good. You see there, I left it a little bit proud. Should have come more into the black line there, and I tried to do the inside of a curve, just touch it up. But Sheena, it's really not very, it's quite soft, so when it's not got anything supporting it, it's kind of difficult to touch up the inside of curves. Or even the outside, it's just too soft. It's sort of like, once it's got nothing touching the side of it, it's sort of, the edges sort of give. I'm excited to start on the samurai print. A nice hard key block, hopefully. Ooh. I just scratched the block. I think that'll polish that. What I'll do is I'll take a bit of Nagara and I'll rub that a little bit. I just scored the top of just a couple little bits there. Oops. I've asked him about videos in the past. I haven't broached it with him in quite a long time. I would like to do that at some point. He wasn't really interested at all. He said, I've done a video. He didn't really think there was a need to do another video. He might be more amicable to it nowadays. If you want to see a video of his, I think it's not even on YouTube though, it's on Vimeo. It's called The Woodcutter. Someone did a little mini documentary thing about him. He's obviously done a lot of TV stuff in Japan. Why use Shina here? Because this is a limited print. There'll only be a certain amount of copies of this. And it's cheap. If you're doing large print runs, you need nice hardwood, because the Shina will print nicely, but it won't print hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of copies. And also, these blocks are actually, it's a little bit tricky to get wood this big. It's a little bit tricky. You can get bigger pieces of Yamazakura, but to get them all nice and smooth with no knots and stuff this size is kind of tricky. I can try and look for the video at the end. Maybe I can throw a link in. Or maybe someone else knows of the video. I'm sure someone has seen that video. I don't know what printer he used to print out this thing, but all the black lines have sort of smudged a little bit. They've like expanded just a touch. And so things that are supposed to be gaps, they just look like black lines. On the printout, it's much clearer, but like this, for example, you probably can't really see it. But it's just black here on my printer. But I suspected that actually these are separate dots with a little white space in between, but the ink is just smudged. Oh, thank you. Does he talk much about his past experience? Like drips and drabs. Like I've spoke to him and picked up stories over the years. You know. I talked to him about memoirs and stuff at one point. On our trip to Nagoya, we talked a lot. We went to get some new wood, and we drove all the way like nearly 1,000 miles in one day. It was nuts. Um, but yeah, we talked a lot on that car trip. We talked about like memoirs and stuff, and he's actually. I was talking to him about making some sort of book together, like a technical thing, just to preserve it. And he's already working on sort of a sort of semi-memoir, semi-technical thing. But I wouldn't hold your breath. I don't know when that's. I don't know who's really working on that. I think one of his apprentices, the one just above me, was working on that. But I don't know how much they're working on it. So don't hold your breath on that. My thing is really struggling to stay connected today. My trackpad. Has Dave ever thought about doing a similar book? I know he has a lot going on right now. You'll have to ask Dave. I don't think he's planning on doing. He's got a book in the works, but you'd have to ask him. It'd be nice to see a translation of God the Sun's Barren book. Yeah, that'd be good. Nishiyama. Um, yeah, there's not that many. There's not that many books in English. The Yoshida one is good. How do you feel about Tuesday mornings instead of evenings? Well, I'm still working on this project. I think I can kind of still do it. I did feel like not showing up today I had a nice day, pleasant. I feel rejuvenated after the trip, but thought of streaming this evening was sort of tiring. And I enjoy streaming, and when I'm doing it, it's fine. But I think I enjoy the morning ones much more. It's less pressure. I'm always working in the mornings anyway, working in the evenings anyway, but I don't feel sort of genki to be on presenter mode. Also, it means Ayana ends up doing the washing up and stuff because I got to prep. Yeah, it's my show, whatever works for me. But I do feel bad for the Europeans. Very naughty thing I'm doing there. You shouldn't ever really do that. Like, it's they're not. I know how much pressure I can put on my tip. This wood is really soft. It's like it looks quite aggressive, but they're not held on. It's like a single fiber. That's all I'm doing. But don't get into that practice doing that. You'll snap your blades left, right, and center. You don't need to try and stay up. There's always VODs. There's always VODs. Notes, yeah, don't do it. This is probably not the best, or maybe it's a good thing. This is not the best sort of work to be taking notes from, actually. This is sort of lazy, late night, sort of not, it's just dots and it's not super critical. It's not a passion project. This is just like rough carving work you're seeing here. But you got to keep a few things in mind when doing Shina. One is the angle. You always need a good angle on Shina. If you don't have your angles right, carving at a nice 70 degrees, then you'll end up breaking a lot of these little islands you're creating. They'll chip off. The knife's dragging just a little bit. 9 a.m. is 10, 10, 10 midnight. Ah, okay, yeah, different areas in Europe. Okay, I got it. It's about 11, 12ish. Well, if all the Europeans don't mind staying up, then. Give me a couple seconds. This This is not a proper sharpening. I just want to touch it up, just a touch. Again, this is some more of the rough stuff. I'm not going to do it off to the side or anything. Mm-hmm. My sleep schedule. I don't, not my intention. But I'm glad you're enjoying them. This is not really crucial, this carving. It's sharpening. It was just feeling like it was sticking a little bit. And you want a nice sharp knife for Sheena because it's so soft. The nice thing is your knife stays quite sharp because it's quite soft as well. You don't need to sharpen as often. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Have a nice rest. It's late for you, isn't it? Have a nice sleep. Cheers for the sub. Maybe it could actually do with a little bit of the 1000 grit. I'm not going to do it now. A little bit rocked. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Don't take this sharpening as a lesson in anything. This is Aragoto. Bit of the rough stuff. To it, back to it. What time is it? 10:30, we got half an hour. Let's have some tea. Can you see? Oh, we're not focused. Not quite focused. A little bit rounded. Just at that very tip there. That fine line you can see is one thing, but it's just a little bit rounded. I'll have to take that tomorrow morning onto the 1000 grit. Just flatten it up a little bit. It's just a slight taper off of the end there. And I think I just did that now, actually. Heard about the stream from Dave Levingate. I gotta go. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. It's probably, yeah, craving some carving. You haven't seen any carving in a while. Although I think Dave was carving the other day, right? Anyway, thank you for taking a chance. Lots of fun carving here. We've got millions of dots to get through. Come back if you enjoy the dotty torture. Focus up. Yeah, on my printout, that's just showing as a black line down the middle here, but actually there is a gap. So I've got to open that up a little bit. I've got to go inside the black lines on this, because if I do it actually where the lines are showing, then the gap will be too small and it won't show up. So I've got to widen, on grooves like this, you've got to widen them up a little bit to account for the paper going around the shape and the ink spreading the touch. Oh, Jesus. Wait, fly fish, aren't you American? Afternoon, Kanton. Welcome in. Canadian. Yeah. So the early morning ones. Ah, you mean this stream? The discussion is actually to move these to the same as Friday streams. To move them into the morning. Not the other way around. Also, if it's 4:30 a.m., shouldn't you be in bed now? So the deadline for this project is Monday. So hopefully, well, this will be a last big push. I'm going to have some pretty late nights coming up. I might try and get to bed kind of reasonable hour today, so I can be efficient tomorrow and not start the first day after having a nice break, you know, come back and just kill myself on day one. Try and get to bed at a reasonable hour. this week's going to be tough to try and finish that other side. This one, I think I can finish it tomorrow. It's a lot, but I think I can do it. The other side. And then there's also the clearing and the ice ski work. できるかな。結構 it's a lot. Is everyone finishing their carving by Monday? I haven't talked about it. I'm actually a little bit worried to reach out. I know what will happen if I reach out, or if I turn my block in early. I just know I'll get my workload will double in like a 2 minute. A 2 minute to write message will give me an extra 2 weeks of work to do in a couple of days. So I'm just quietly doing my work. I'm not rocking any boats. I'm not checking up on everyone else's schedule, but I'm almost certain that other people won't be able to make the deadline. But I'll make mine. I always make mine. Printing this density dots is difficult. Yes. No, this is actually it'll be tricky to print without getting tamari, but all it means is you just, because all the dots and lines are sort of going in the same direction, as long as you don't want to do your final brush like this, you want to do your final brush going up like this gently. So if you take your time, nice soft brush going up like that, this will print fine. And because there's so many dots close to each other, this is actually easier to print than something like it's on the other side. This will be a bit trickier to print. There'll be a tendency on these to put way too much pressure, so these will all smudge and the paper will go around. They're not too difficult to print. The most difficult ones are like where there's 3 little dots with nothing else around them. Dots are actually quite easy to print in the sense that you can get them really nice and smooth without really trying. You just need a little bit of pressure and you get nice smooth coverage on the actual printed area. The difficulty is too much pressure or smudging stuff, or if they don't have enough stuff around them. That's when it gets tricky. Yeah, the printing's not so difficult. Well, you'll just need to be patient with your carving. Take it slow. Obviously size them up a little bit if you need to. My body clock is telling me it's 6:36. Have you been on holiday or something? Have you got jet lag? You searched but you couldn't see. Find the photo of the woman with the pulley system. Maybe you can draw a little doodle and stick it in the Discord. I'm still trying to figure out. It looks like some medieval torture device in my head canon. In fact, don't post a don't do a doodle yet. Let the community draw what they are imagining. Maybe you can tell us again what the thing is. We can do a little competition. Everyone can draw their best little stick figure configuration of how this person had a rope and pulley system to correct their posture while they were working. Or maybe we can do it as a sort of submission. At some point, this room is going to get refurbished, renovated. Maybe I want to install a pulley system that will help me sit with the correct posture. Accepting submissions now, and whoever gets closest to Flyfish's friends. Was it your friend? Contraption they made for their wife, then maybe we can give a small prize. Or just whoever comes with the most creative solution. Water wheels and all that jazz to adjust you slowly over time. If I had a little bit more time, I might have fun doing stuff like that. Speaking of that, though, I do actually. We're going to have a meeting. We're probably not going to end up with the company that I was telling you about before, Ruvis. We'll probably use a local company because we'll have to pay a lot for them to travel. I think they're based in Yokohama. So it's a little bit of a way to get into Saitama for them. But I do need to start thinking about putting my ideas to paper. So as soon as well, not even before I finish this, I'll have to do that. Then I'm going to get the time. I don't need a finished drawing yet. It's something I tend to do anyway, though. You know, whenever I move house, I measure it really, really well, and draw myself a little scale blueprint of the house I'm moving into, and then I make a few different ideas of layouts and how I want stuff. If I have to build anything to usually I got to fit up until now I've had to fit a platform and a bed and everything. My workstation has to fit in the room without being intrusive. This is the third iteration of my current platform. All made from the same wood, just cut up with different holes in different locations. It'll be nice to get a nice proper reform of it. It was an article in a fishing magazine many years ago, but I thought, sure, it wouldn't be tough to find. You recall the husband was a mechanical engineer. I think we can still have fun putting up best suggestions for what this contraption looked like. A cross between a medieval torture device and a stair lift. Mission Impossible style hanging from the ceiling, yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe I don't need a platform at all. Maybe I just need some sort of illicit swing in here with some pulleys, and I can just sort of float in the middle of the room with a floating. I can put some bars on the table and attach the roof, the table to the ceiling. We could really reinvent the wheel. Cobalt from the future. Bouldering carving setup. No bad ideas. It's a bit weird. They had her dressed in Victorian costume. What the hell? Is that a joke? So when I said medieval torture device, I wasn't far off. There must have been something weird. That there's some sort of icky topic going on there behind the scenes. And they're just voyeurs that wanted to get this contraption in the newspaper, calling all steampunk sadists come and join us on Wednesday night. The family show. It's a family show. No more. Don't encourage me. What time is it? I've got to try and get some. I've got 10 minutes. We didn't get very far, but got some progress. It's not quick work, but it progresses. How long? It's not that much. This stuff will take a bit of time. Let me see if I can get a couple nice photos of this. Let's flip over here. Oh, let me add a photo. Image. Okay. Browse a picture. Here's our first one. Oh, Jesus, the pictures all come in massive, don't they? This is the campsite. So this is the we're looking from the far side of the lake over to the roads and stuff are all over at this other end. I just realized